Hello friends and welcome to Play Recap. Today I'm going to recap a movie called Deep Water, released in 2022. This film depicts the life of a husband who permits his wife to have extramarital affairs with numerous men in order to prevent the messiness of a divorce. However, he becomes the primary suspect when his wife's lovers begin to inexplicably vanish. Watch till the conclusion to find out what happens. At the start of the movie, we observe a guy named Vic Van Allen who comes home following his bike ride through the woods. As he removes his pants, he notices Melinda, his wife, is staring at him. Melinda gets up and walks away without saying anything. The pair resides in a little town in Louisiana with a daughter named Trixie. In the next scene, Melinda is preparing for a party. Vic assists Melinda in putting on a shoe. She tells him she adores him. The two then go to the party. They run across some of their old friends during the celebration. The friends have a pleasant conversation, and right then Melinda departs to see her buddy, Joel Dash. She then takes him out and walks along the pool. They sit next to the pool and start kissing him. Comes out that Joel is Melinda's boyfriend. Vic observes them kissing outside. Melinda notices Vic watching them. She stops. Vic's friends also notice Melinda and Joel. She tells Vic that Melinda might not like him. However, Vic simply says that it doesn't concern him. Melinda gets in touch with him later and drunkenly begins dancing on top of a piano. She then begins to play the piano and starts singing. Even though she is blatantly cheating on him, Vic grins at Melinda as if everything is fine. Joel approaches Vic for a conversation. Joel expresses gratitude to Vic for allowing him to see Melinda. Vic casually inquires of Joel whether he has heard the odd disappearance of a Martin McRae, who was also one of Melinda's admirers. Vic then confesses to killing Martin using a hammer. Joel believes Vic is kidding, but Vic is not. He tells him that it is not a joke. Soon after, Joel departs from the gathering. Melinda asks Vic as she prepares to go home if he mentioned anything to Joel. She is concerned about why Joel left the party. Vic denies speaking to him. Vic assists Melinda in taking her clothes off. Melinda expresses her admiration for Joel. Melinda tells him that she likes Joel as he admires her for who she is. It is here it's revealed that Vic and Melinda have an arrangement under which Melinda has the potential to date whoever she wants. Vic has agreed to her requirements since he is a gentleman and wants to avoid the complication of divorce. The next morning, Vic goes to drop Trixie at her school. On his way back to his car, one of his friends questions him about whether what he said to Joel is correct. Vic responds that it was all a prank and nothing else. The joke immediately travels among the group. Everyone in the neighborhood continues asking. If he actually did it, Vic, on the other hand, tells them the same thing. It was all a joke. Melinda confronts Vic angrily at home for endangering her lover. Vic apologizes and makes a vow to her that it won't happen again, but Melinda says Vic should apologize to Joel, according to Melinda. As a result, she has asked him for supper. Vic meets Joel when he arrives. Joel is still a little scared of Vic. However, he keeps calm. During dinner, Joel explains that he's preparing to relocate this weekend. Melinda then instructs Vic to put Trixie to bed. She wants to spend some time alone with Joel. Later, as Melinda uses the restroom, Vic approaches Joel and assures him that he killed Martin. Vic then calls an Uber and tells Joel to go immediately, subtly warning him that if he doesn't, he might suffer the same fate as Martin. One day, they attend to a party where they meet Dawn and Kelly Wilson. Later, as Melinda observes, Vic dances with Kelly. On the way home, Melinda asks him if he thought Kelly was pretty. Vic replies that he did. This makes Melinda appear envious because Kelly, in her opinion, is more attractive than she is. When they get back home, the couple makes passionate love while they are both turned on. While Trixie is playing soccer, Vic gets a call from his bank about a payment Melinda made to Charlie Delisle, a piano teacher. Vic pursues Charlie and joins him at a bar where Charlie is playing piano. Vic finds that Melinda is meeting Charlie behind his back. When he arrives home later that night, he finds out that Martin's body has been found in the woods. Vic informs Melinda about Martin when she arrives home from work. When Melinda hears this, she is startled and runs to her room. As time goes on, Melinda starts spending more time with Charlie, and their relationship deepens. This is something Vic is aware of, and he is losing patience. Vic approaches Melinda angrily after she gets home from spending the night with Charlie and demands that she stop seeing him. Melinda argues that Charlie makes her feel loved, which Vic is unable to provide. They quickly conclude that Charlie is dead. When the detectives come and begin questioning all the partygoers, Vic is directly accused by Melinda of drowning Charlie, but Vic disputes this. Vic is then questioned privately about Melinda's accusation. Charlie was excessively inebriated, according to Vic, and was clinging to the deep end of the pool. He satisfies the detectives, so they decide not to question him anymore. Melinda is still unwavering in her belief that Vic killed Charlie. Vic then inquires about her fear of him, knowing that he killed Charlie. Melinda says that she isn't since Vic killed him for her. Vic spots a car following him one day as he rides his bike home. Later, after dropping Trixie off at school, Kelly approaches Vic and informs him that Dawn suspects Vic of murdering Charlie. Dawn and Melinda are also spending a lot of time together and formulating bizarre notions. Kelly is assured by Vic that she need not worry about anything and is extended an invitation to join her and him for dinner later that evening. Dawn and Kelly arrive at Vic's home for supper. Vic then takes Dawn to a secret location and orders him to stop telling anyone that he killed Charlie. Despite this, Dawn continues to believe that Vic was responsible for Charlie's death. So, in order to demonstrate his innocence, he asks Vic whether he will submit to a lie detector test, to which Vic calmly responds, sure. Vic notices the car that has been following him for some time one day, and when he looks through the window, he notices a camera. Realizing that a private investigator is watching him, Vic then discovers Melinda dining with the private eye in a neighboring diner and decides to join them. Vic recognizes the man right away as the private investigator hired by Melinda and Dawn, and goes right to Dawn's house to confront him in front of Kelly and their daughter. Vic claims he hired an investigator, but Dawn disputes this. Vic then hands him a bank statement from Melinda, indicating that she paid Dawn to recruit David. Vic is jealous when he sees Melinda spending time with her new buddy, Tony Cameron, who is also Melinda's college lover. Vic attempts to talk to Melinda about Tony, but she won't hear of it. The next day, Melinda brings Tony around for dinner. Vic is nice to Tony, even though she casually says that Tony is the first American she has ever dated and made love to, but Vic is actually quite angry. The following day, Tony is approached by Vic in his Jeep and informed that Melinda wants to take him to a construction site where she has been working. Vic then takes him to the woods. Vic knows there is no mobile cell phone signal in the area. When Tony is not looking, Vic smashes a rock at Tony's head. Vic then throws another rock at him, sending him tumbling down the cliff and hitting his head on a rock, instantly killing him. Vic then drags Tony's body and ties it up with pebbles to try to bury it in the water. The next day, Vic takes Melinda and Trixie on a picnic in the woods. As Trixie is playing, Melinda questions Vic about why he is the only man who wants to stay with her. Vic responds that he simply adores her and will never leave her. Vic then presents her with a photo album he created just for her. The two hug each other and accept them for who they are. Just then, Trixie approaches the stream where Vic drowned Tony's body. Vic rushes to get Trixie and notices that Tony's body has started to float on the surface. On the way back home, in the car, Melinda mentions that she left her scarf behind. Vic assures her that he will return for it the following day. Later that night, Melinda asks Vic to sleep in her room because she doesn't want to be alone. The two then passionately kiss and make love to each other. Vic rides off into the woods on his bike the following morning, while Melinda finds Tony's wallet and learns that Tony has been murdered. Melinda is devastated to learn that Vic has murdered all of her lovers, so she decides to leave him forever. However, Trixie discovers this and throws the suitcase into the pool, telling Melinda that they will not be leaving. When he arrives at the stream, Vic tries to further submerge Tony's body just as Dawn arrives and approaches. Vic tries to get rid of Dawn, but when Dawn notices Tony's arm floating, he immediately runs back to his car and drives away. Vic pursues him on his bike and uses the shortcut so that he may catch Dawn. He crashes his bike in front of Dawn's car just as Dawn is about to brake. To avoid colliding with him, Dawn swerves sharply, but he ends up sending his car down a slope, killing him. When Vic arrives home after verifying Dawn's death, he sees Melinda sitting on the stairs and staring at him. This is the moment from the opening of the movie when Vic rode home on his bike. Melinda says she recovered Tony's wallet but won't say anything else to Vic. After that, Melinda burns Tony's ID and declares her desire to be with him always.